Okay, so we are on to trend identification. Um, I'm going to do this entire section is a breakdown of everything that has to do with essentially the support and resistance system of trading. This identification is going to be something that will be extremely beneficial in being able to identify diagonal support and resistance. So essentially what we're doing is we're learning how to see where the market is going diagonally. So what I just showed you is support and resistance, what it means and how it forms. Now we're going to go in, and since you have that basis of education and knowledge of how support and resistance forms, I'm going to show you what it means for a trend to happen. Now, this is a powerful tool in the market because basically when this sets up, it gives you an idea of the trajectory of where the market can potentially go. Now, the most important thing that you have to understand about this is potential, because it's something that can essentially happen but is not guaranteed. But everything that we do in trading is all about potential. Okay, so I don't want you to forget that in our journey with this. And you'll have to revert back to the psychology videos, because everything I say in there is what you're really going to be using in the moment. So the potential of what a trend does is it gives you an idea of where this market can potentially go. And it's based off of two aspects. It's based off of an uptrend and a downtrend. Okay. So when it happens, it's the peaks and the valleys that we've already spoke about. So when an uptrend begins, it always creates this like this low point. So basically it's like this is the starting point of it right down here. And then what happens is there's a movement of money that gets created like this. This movement of money is basically what we would call an excitable move. This movement of money is pushing upwards, okay? So since it is pushing upwards, we see that price is shooting up from this low point. So if you look at this in the correct way, this is a language that's being depicted right in front of your face. And what we do is we just listen to the market and the language that it's giving you. And now as it pushes to the upside, what it does is it creates a high point. And this is the peak point of the market. So this is the valley point of the market, and this is going to be the peak point. We don't know it's the peak point until it does this right here. Until it does that right there, do we know that that's the peak point. Now, in proper trading terms, or like what most people would address this as, is this would be the low and this would be the high. So to break that down, it would go into low like this here. You would be able to see this. Let's see, can I make this smaller? Yeah, this would be the low point down here. I do not want this big. Let me do this because this is not the size I need. Yeah, there we go. And no background, no background. Color needs to be white. Let's go. Yeah, we'll go white. It's able to be seen. So we can see that right there. This right here is the low point. And then this right here, as we go up to here, this is the high point in the market. Okay. So this becomes the high at this level. Now, when this gets created, this is a movement of funds. So the language I want you guys to see here is movement of money. Okay, let's say movement of money here. Okay, so this is movement of money right there. This is the movement of money that we want to see in the market right at this level right there. And then what's going to happen is there's going to be a point in the market that it is going to make and make a decision of where it wants to stop retracing. Okay, so it's or a pullback, either one. So this will be we'll say this is the pullback right here. So this is the pullback right there. Now remember, when I talk about in the psychology videos, I said like it doesn't matter what you call these things. It's just like you can call it whatever you want. Of course, I'm just speaking in proper trading terms, but whatever makes sense to you, however you relate it in your journey that makes sense to you. I'm just showing you this. I know what it means. I don't like care what I call it. I could call it a horse. I could call it a car. Like it doesn't matter. I could call it a volcano. It really doesn't matter what it's called. And you see this low, high. Now right here, okay, there's going to be a place where the market pulls back and then it continues its movement of money. Okay. And when these things happen, the market creates this and it shoots up like this. Okay. And when it does, what gets created again? What has happened here is since this is an uptrend, so I'm depicting an uptrend to you. Notice how the market started down here, it pushed up, it came and pulled back, and it pushed up again. This is called an uptrend, meaning that this little point right here in the market, the price is constantly driving higher. So it started here, it came over to here, it shot up to here, it pulled back to here, it shot back up to there. This right here is called a higher low because it's higher than that low. Okay, so this line that we put here, this would be our higher low. Okay, that's what that is. And then we have another what? Movement of money. Okay, so that's what happens right here. There's another movement of money. And then what gets created right here is not just a high, but a higher high. So when we look at this and we know that this is not just a high, but this is a higher high, okay? So now that we know that this is a higher high, the market has now pushed to a higher high point. And this is exactly what a true uptrend looks like and what an identification of a trend looks like. So when we see this, now what is supposed to happen? When we have this begins our data point that we understand that the market is on an uptrend. It's not a guarantee that it's going to go higher. It doesn't mean that it's 100% going to go higher. But what it does is it gives us a high probability chance that we could be pushing higher. Now, what happens in trading is once it goes and creates this higher high, there becomes a what? A pullback again. So a pullback happens. Now, this is just a perfect uptrend right here. This is what this essentially looks like. And then the market comes back down to there. And then the market goes up again. And then the market comes back down again. And then the market goes up again. And when you look at the market, this duplicates over and over again. So do you see how this low is higher than that low? So that's a higher high. Do you see how this high is higher than that high? So it's a higher high. You see how that low is still higher than that low? So that is what an uptrend looks like and is depicted of inside of the market. This is exactly how it works. So what is trading? What am I teaching you inside of Visual Prowess FX? I'm not just showing you how to trade in the currency market. I'm showing you how to trade in any market. It doesn't matter what it is. And one of my biggest and most favorite pairs to trade is gold. That's one of my favorite ones to trade is gold, and that's not a forex pair. That's a commodity. So understanding that that's one of my favorite ones, and then there's so many different other things. There's so many different crypto pairs you can trade, so many different stocks you can trade. It doesn't really matter what this is. So what I'm showing you is price action trading, meaning that as long as there is a price action chart, that it's a line chart, a what are they called? Hanaki Ash. Here, break it down. Boom. And as long as these things are here, these are pretty much the main price action reading charts right here. Is there something like that there? You can, what I'm showing you, you can read. All you're reading is volume and money, guys. That's it. So understanding that if you look at this and line this out, just like we did the support and resistance before, that right there is the support, and this right here is the resistance. That is exactly how you draw that out right there. And as long as the market stays inside of that zone, it's inside of that zone. There's nothing else beyond this that we have to know and sit here and try to figure out. This is how simple this is. This is the high and the lows and the higher highs and the higher lows. This is what it is. Not until it breaks out of this movement of money of this form right here is it out of a potential uptrend. Now, seeing this and understanding this is extremely important in trading because this happens constantly. It happens off the 5-minute chart, it happens off the monthly chart, it happens off the hourly chart, it happens off the daily chart. It doesn't matter. So understanding what this means inside of the market is extremely key. So when you look at this market right here, in this specific instance right here, I'm going to zoom in on one that this was actually when I made really good money on this specific one, and it was super easy. It was just, it happened consistently, consecutively, and when it happens, I say this all the time, you can tattoo it on your forehead because I literally say it all the time, it's the easiest thing to do. The easier it looks on your eyes in trading, the easier it is going to be to trade. The easier it looks on your eyes, the easier it is going to be to trade. That's how it works. So I'm going to just shift this down to the 4 hour so it's a little bit more easier to see this specific instance. But this is a perfect uptrend right here in front of your face. This point right here, I'm going to zoom this out just a little more. This is a perfect uptrend right here. Now, when you look at this right here, see how the market shot down all the way there? This was the starting point, the anchor point of where the market is essentially going up at. Now, we don't know where it is going, where the anchor point is going to be until it establishes the trend. Okay, so looking at this, looking at what we have in front of here is this right here is the low. This is it right there. That's the low point right there. And what the market does is it shoots up like this. See this? And see how the market pulls back right there? So now what we have is right there, we have the what? We have the high, okay? So this is the high right here. And another thing that I want to say is not every single thing is going to be like textbook how I just drew it up there. All right, I don't want you to think like it's going to be like textbook every single time, okay? So this is the low, this is the high. Right here, this is the movement of money. So this is the excitable movement of money. So whenever we do that, we can draw that out right here so you can see this, okay? Okay, there's that. Movement of money here. And then we'll draw this right here. This is the pullback. Okay, pullback right here. So we can draw this right there. And then we have this point right here is going to be the higher high right there. And that's what this is. And low, movement of money, high, pullback, higher high, because it's higher than this. That's a low. I'm tripping. I said higher high. We'll fix this. Y'all are probably like, what the hell? That's a higher low, bro. I'm over here getting one step ahead. Boom. Higher low. Because it is higher than this low. And then we have the next point. This is the higher high right here. This is the actual higher high. And the market comes about right there. And you can still see how it's slightly higher. It's still high. It's still higher than that. So whenever we come over here and we do this, I'm just going to duplicate this. Makes it easier for me. Boom. And settings and this is your higher high right here, there. And then this is your higher low right there. So clone this, come over here, pull this right there. This is your movement of money again. See how this one, that one's a little easier to see. See how hard that pushed up at that zone? This one pushed kind of hard right here, and then it kind of took a little bit longer from here to get to here. But that's still a movement of money. And this entire thing, this is your move right here, just like this, okay? It gets a little choppy right here, this entire zone, okay? I want you to understand this. That entire zone is a higher low, okay? That entire zone right there is a higher low. Even though it does this right here, things like this that happen, why do I say that? And why did I want to use this example? Because on this point right here, this is the true trend of that market right there. See that? See how we look at that in that zone right there and see how that works? And then you see how this thing pushes right here? See that? This is your true trend right here. See when it hits right there and see how it goes there? This is all it right here. This whole entire thing. This is the market. And and the reason I'm showing you this and why I want you to understand this, guys, is because this is your real true line right here. This line is your anchoring point of the entire trend identification system. That's your anchor point. Just like right here, this entire thing is your anchor point. Okay, this is the entire point of your highs and higher highs right here. This is your anchor point. It does not have to be perfect. I'm going to teach you guys a trick in the other video of the dual trend line system that I utilize that keeps me like really, really good in alignment with the market. And this is the low, this is the high, this is the higher low, this is the higher high, this is the higher low, this is the higher high, this is the higher low, this is the higher high. Boom, 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 boom. Until what? It stops. Now see how it stopped right there? And do you see how the market, and I didn't want to draw this out because I know it might look like, in a sense, no, it wouldn't look like I would pre-plan it. But I just want you to see how literally perfectly these things happen. Like the market understands what it's doing. It's a language. Do you see how price rejected right there a little bit and then shot up? And do you see how it shot immediately down? But do you see how price came back up to this point right here and then it started going down? You see that? This is how a downtrend now begins, okay? So a downtrend now begins like this. So I got to get this right. Swing this over to here. I have this drawn out here. All right, trend identification. Here we go, right here. Okay. How this works, once it switches on its own accord. Okay. I don't know what it's going to do. Sometimes it can switch out of the zone and continue to go higher. But what happens is if it comes here and it breaks this, there is no longer an uptrend anymore, guys. Because what it's done is it's broken it. And when it crosses, especially if it crosses under here, this is like a for sure break of the trend if it crosses right under here. But as soon as it starts crosses out of the trend identification, and it comes down like this, we're no longer in that uptrend. Now, sometimes it can come all the way back up to here, but as soon as it does not make a higher high, the uptrend is now halted. So what does that mean? If it does not go above this high right here, if it does not go above this high. So if it starts stopping right here and it starts making that peak right here, we're done. We're done with that. And this is how the downtrend begins. So now, if we draw this out and we do this properly, what we're looking at here is this is the higher high, okay? But watch this. Also, in the downtrend, that becomes the this now becomes the high, okay? This is now the high right here. And we have this push down. Now, what do you think this is right here? If you haven't figured it out yet, that is the movement of money right here. This is the movement of money. This little guy right here, I'll try to put it right there so you can see that properly. That's the movement of money. Then we have a low that gets made, okay? So that low gets made. This is our low right here. This is our low. Then what we have is this is not a higher high anymore. That, what do you think it is? This right here becomes a lower high, okay? That's a lower high now. Because do you see how it's lower than that high? And over here, this becomes a lower low now. So now down here, this becomes a lower low. So when we see this here, this is a lower low now. This is your downtrend. And this is still a movement of money. That is still a pullback. This doesn't change. All this, it's just different. It's a different way of seeing it now. And this is how the trend begins to switch. So when you see this, this is your high, this is your low, that's your lower high, that's your lower low. All right? And this is still your pullback because it's pulling back of this movement of money or of this excitable move. It's pulling back. Then it goes and creates this peak or this valley inside of the market. It created peaks over here. It created valleys over here. This is still a peak. This is a peak. Everything that's below the highs, because you have to think market is moving like this. This is how the market's moving. It's going here, here, here. It's my cursor. Follow my cursor. It's literally the little finger point thing. That is the market moving right here. So you read the market from left to right. So when it gets to here, this is where the market is. We don't know. We don't know if the market is gonna pull back here or if it's just gonna shoot straight down. We don't know what the market's gonna do. We don't know if it's gonna stop right here, if it's just gonna keep going down. We don't know. It's not gonna do this. I'll tell you that much. That won't happen right there. The only place it's gonna go is forwards. So the only place it's gonna go is it's gonna go right. So it's not going to like shoot all the way over here or anything like that. It's like in one swift move. It can, although, go like this, like that. That's something it can do, but not just in a obviously straight line. It can come up and do like a spike up here, and it can do like a spike down here, and it can do something like that. That can happen. A lot of times those things happen in the market. But whenever the market is trending so beautifully, this is where you're going to maximize a large amount of your money, guys. Off this video alone, you can literally use this one thing I just showed you, and you can make a ridiculous amount of income off of this. Literally. Just off this video. This is a very popular way of trading inside of the market. But I'm going to say something that's really important in this video that I may not have said in my other videos, but I'm going to say it in an even crispier way. But it doesn't matter how well you master reversal, guys. So I know some really good people in trading that are really good at market reversal. But unless you master a winning mindset in your trading strategy and you master that mindset to win consistently in trading, even when you lose on your trades, you're never going to be able to make money in this market. So you can take this right here and you can utilize this information, and it's all good and great, and somebody else might have taught it as well. But if you never master the winning mindset that it takes to make money in trading consistently, even when you lose, you're never going to be able to make money. So off this alone, guys, you can make ridiculous amounts of income. This is a really, really good way to explain everything and to utilize this. And then when you go and apply it to the market, this is it right here. So when you see what I just explained to you over here, this is the market. I don't have to use that chart. I can use this bar chart. The bar chart basically looks the same when you zoom it out. But line chart, see? It's different. See that right there? But this is the money right here. That's the high, that's the low, that's the pullback. That's a low right there. That's a high. But the real one is right here. And as you get more adept in trading, and as you get better in this, you're going to see is one thing that will be extremely important as you guys do this to get even better is to be a part of the elite zone inside of the academy, because I do this kind of breakdowns consistently. And we do this every single week. It's not something that you may get off of the first try of watching these videos. That's why I do an online teaching program that I do twice a week where it's live, where we're on there 1 to 2 hours learning how to do this stuff live. And I'm actually breaking these down right in front of your face, and you can actually speak to me about it. And I generate questions and things and concerns, comments, stuff like that that we talk about, because you need constant mentorship on getting this down until what? You get this down. So this is the high, that's the low, that's the lower high, that's the lower low, that is the lower high, that is the lower low. That's the trend right there. And see how this right here doesn't look as good on the eyes as this over here? Why do you think I tell you guys the thing that you can utilize with you 100% of the time is the easier it looks on the eyes, the easier it's going to be to trade? This one looks much better because it is much better. There's just some setups that just look better than others. It's just how it is in the market. There's no reason to be upset that your favorite pair isn't trending good right now. I mean, if it's your favorite pair and it's not trending the best, go find another pair. You don't have to literally just trade one pair in the market, guys. You can trade any pair in the market. You just have to understand what it means to master market reversal. When you master market reversal, when you really get it, it doesn't matter what you trade. You just have to understand where the buyers and where the sellers are. And that's what this trend identification is. It is going to literally depict where the market is going to essentially turn around at. It's going to give you an extremely high probability of chance of when it does. And then whenever it does, you load your positions up just like the market loads its positions up. And then you take your positions out just like the market takes its positions out once it reaches key critical levels inside of the zone that you make, inside of the support and resistance zone that you make. So take exactly what I told you in this video and then apply it to any chart, guys. It does not matter what chart you apply it to. Apply it to every single one. This is a really good breakdown of trend identification and understanding what it means when those things happen. The next video, I'm going to go over a couple different things inside of it. I don't know which one I want to do yet, but we'll see which one is on my academy, because I have a specific way I want to break this down in like a step-by-step format for you. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and get ready for the next one, because the next one's going to be even better. I'm going to teach you even more. So next video, here we go.